Swat in northeast Pakistan was once the country's equivalent of the Lake District, a holiday resort. Now it's effectively a Sharia-law tribal land, where hooded Taliban fighters control the streets and watch for outsiders, wary of us as well, even though we had permission to travel from their leaders. What's clear is that the elders oversee a well-organised and brutal militia. They passed us previously unseen video footage of their men in action. It's propaganda, but when forensically examined, it's frightening. Everything is filmed in what used to be Pakistan's main tourist destination. In the mountains, a Taliban training camp. Pakistan's denied they exist on sovereign land, but this is absolute proof that they do. And we are told the pictures were filmed just a few weeks ago. The United States, in particular, is furious that they still exist. Until recently, suicide bombing in Pakistan was almost unheard of, but the Taliban dedicates a large chunk of their film to the bombers, all desperately young men, grinning with pleasure as their colleagues congratulate their decision. It shows them putting on suicide bomb vests, and then the attacks are filmed. The bombed-out ruins of police stations and military camps pepper the towns and villages of Swat. There's a ceasefire now, but in reality the army has handed over control to the Taliban.
Well, this pretty much sums up why the Taliban say that they've had a victory here. This is the central police station in Mangura. It's been reduced to rubble by 3 separate suicide bomb attacks. Perhaps that's why the Pakistani authorities felt that they had to do a deal with the Taliban. Their own police and security forces were simply getting overwhelmed night by night.
The brutality of the film is perhaps the most disturbing. A man accused of burglary is very publicly shot dead in the street. A captured police officer is filmed being questioned. Moments later, he is beheaded. It's propaganda, of course, but it is also a frightening reminder to everyone in Swat of what happens to people who stray out of line. Swat is being transformed into a Taliban statelet. The sign above this market reads, "Women are not allowed." Pakistan's questionable record on women's rights is about to get an awful lot worse. These girls at one of the few schools not targeted by the Taliban so far are enjoying an education alongside the boys. They separate as they get older. Under the Taliban, though, their formal education will stop at 14 if they're lucky. The school staff say it's a good policy. They haven't any choice. They want to keep their school going. Swat's transformation has been remarkably quick. A frightening development for the West, an embarrassment perhaps to Pakistan. Either way, our presence there isn't appreciated by anyone. Not surprisingly, word has leaked out that 2 foreigners are working in the city. It's not surprising because there aren't any others. The Pakistani security services are looking for us. They've been going through hotels, and the Taliban have suddenly become quite unhelpful. We feel it's probably best to leave town before we overstay our welcome. The alarm bells are ringing in Washington, London and Delhi, but Islamabad's response has failed. This part of the country may never be the same again. Stuart Ramsey, Sky News, Swat, Pakistan.